Hey, Eerie! Wake up! Wake up! Come on! It's Christmas! Merry Christmas, Eerie! Wake up!
What? It's not even Christmas yet, or Christmas Eve.
I know, but it's December. That's close enough. Come on, I got something to show you.
Okay, fine. I'm already holding a camera? What?
I'd be worried about what's in that box.
Yeah, I got you the best thing I could think of. A new premise for a new episode.
Oh boy, this isn't exactly how I planned my day. Hello everyone and welcome to the Christmas special for When Games Happen. It's also the 15th episode, which means we gotta be careful, because 15 is one shady number. That 1 and that 5 hanging out together all that time, what are they trying to do? Like, are they conspiring to join forces to become a 6 and then do a handstand and everyone will think it's a 9? 9's the most powerful number of all the single digits, man. 15's trying to take over the world.
What are you going on about, man?
Yeah, I know. So, what do we got in here?
Yep, that's right.
Strike.
Developed by Technos. American Technos Incorporated. Can't say I've heard of them. And Elite. Sounds familiar. Didn't they publish some old DOS games? Motive Time. I think that might be the codec they used for some of the pre-rendered cutscenes in this. Or something. Anyway, the technology between 3 different companies makes this game work, so let's see how it goes. You get this little pre-rendered sort of thing going on for your background, which is kind of nice looking. I mean, the resolution's pretty low, but it plays alright. And it looks decent. I mean, for the time, this would have been pretty cool. The that title looks pretty bland, though. So does this menu. It feels very low budget already, and we haven't even started playing. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check the options, because the controls here are a little weird, so I don't know, well, you can read that on the screen, but if you go to play this yourself, you want to check the options so you can see what these controls are. It's a little bit tricky to get used to, but once you do, it seems to handle okay. You get to choose your helicopter, but I just pass through it because I just don't care. And then you can select your stage. Each one has all these different objectives to complete, which kind of sounds confusing. It's like you got to remember all the stuff, and you have to rescue somebody while there's bombs and stuff going off. I mean, really? This just, I don't know. It just looks pretty complicated. And there's a password system so you can save what missions you did, I guess. But there's no way to save on your memory card, even though they definitely existed at this time. I guess they just didn't want to program that functionality into the game. Oh well. Also, this disc is old, so the music kind of skips a little bit. But thankfully, the rest of the game doesn't. And you get this little pre-rendered intro to each mission. Classic loading screens. And welcome to potatoes. Alright. So I'm gonna go. Okay. So yeah, the top 2 shoulder buttons, like R1, L1, they adjust your throttle. And then you obviously got your face buttons, which primarily handle your weapons. So let's go forward now. And of course your directional buttons move you left and right and whatnot. You can hold down circle, allows you to strafe. But anyway, yeah, it's not so bad once you get used to it. But see, this arrow's trying to tell me where I'm supposed to go, where my target is that I'm supposed to blow up. But a lot of the times they want you to destroy ground targets, and one, they're difficult to see, and two, they're difficult to hit. You'll see what I mean when I come across one. Right now I'm trying to see if I can't shoot those buggers out the sky. Oh, see, there's a ground target there highlighted by a little yellow square. And see, I was right on top of that tank, and it didn't blow up. And there's no... It kind of auto-targets when it's in range, but it kind of does this weird thing where it doesn't really want to... Oh, geez, slow down, slow down. It kind of does this thing where there's no crosshair, so you don't know where your missile's actually going to land. Like in other games of this sort of style, like air combat, you always have a reticule telling you exactly where that missile's going to land. This one kind of does that. Would you slow down? I guess I held down the throttle too much. That's annoying. And if you hit the brakes at all, it reminds you what your mission is. I think it would have just been better if the missions were more simple. Instead of trying to be like, oh, destroy X amount of things and then do this or something. It should have just been, here you go, wipe all the enemies out from the screen. And it froze. This disc is a little old. So let's hit the reset. You know, this game came out in 1996, so there was definitely a little bit of time for improvement. Air combat came before this. Anyway, this seems to be pretty well rounded. Let's use this one instead. It immediately wants you to go to the Arctic first, which I don't understand. I mean, look how confusing that looks. But why not? Alright, well, it's appropriately snowy. But for some reason, there we go. Let's say the camera's usually better than this. So, where are my targets at? Oh, I think I see one. This doesn't feel too bad, but it does definitely feel very low budget and underwhelming. Although it does kind of remind me of Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Like, although this is a more realistic setting, but I mean, this is a little bit what Rogue Squadron is like. What's the matter, Candy Bones? You're not going to try to rap to that?
Well, it's kind of difficult for us both to speak at the same time.
You've got a point. The music's kind of nice. I mean, it's decent. It's kind of what you would expect out of a game like this from the time. Okay, I'm trying to hit the brake. Apparently that doesn't break. Ooh! Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat any of these missions because this game is just so weird with the way it handles and its missions. The graphics look okay for the time, but the problem is they look really ugly because they're trying to be super realistic, and the PlayStation just wasn't good enough to handle the more realistic style graphics. It just wasn't really equipped for that. So you had to really compensate for its... I mean, granted, for the time, I mean, the graphics card on this thing was actually pretty decent. But at the same time, you had to compensate a lot for the technical limitations using artistic ability. And this has very little artistic ability to it. There's like very little stylization here. So the graphics are pretty ugly, and sometimes it's difficult to tell what something is because it was trying to be too realistic, if that makes any sense. Well, I seem to be blowing stuff up. Am I matching my objective here? I don't know. There's no way to know until, I guess, it ends or the time limit ends and I lose. Which is ridiculous that you give me all these objectives to do and a time limit as well. It just kind of... I don't know. It turns what could have actually been a fun game into something that's a little bit more tedious than it needs to be. It should have been a little bit more self-aware with the fact that it's, you know, not exactly a true simulation type of thing. It should have taken itself a little less seriously, and it would have probably been more fun. I mean, the controls are really weird at first. Once you get used to them, they're not so bad. Overall, the game itself is not terrible, but it is underwhelming, and leaves much to be desired. It kind of feels a little bit like Desert Storm. Not Desert Storm, Desert Strike. Oh wait, it's called Strike Point. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be blowing those buildings up, but I'm doing it because they're targets and they're highlighted, so... And the arrow's telling me where to go, but I'm not exactly sure. Ooh, hey there! Let's slow it down so I can see what I'm doing. Alright. Where am I going? Alright, I'm just going to blow everything up. And we'll see what happens. Because that's what happens. Exactly. Hey, I got a Christmas wish for you. What? Let me say the catchphrase. No, I'm not going to let you say my catchphrase. It's mine. But in the spirit of Christmas. I'll think about it. Ooh, yeah. See, that's kind of not so bad, but it's just wonky. Like, ugh. Kind of trying to fight these things. The music has like no melody to it. It's just like drum machines. It's like just entirely drum machines. Not even a bass loop. I could do this. I could compose music for this game. And you know these are not real drums being played. You know it's a drum machine. Ooh. Then again, it was easier to play synthesized audio on the PlayStation than it was to have full CD audio. Even though this is full CD audio, some games went for more the MIDI style, and other ones went for an actual pre-recorded soundtrack. It depended on different technical limitations of the console and how much space they had to fill on the disc, and what type of technology was driving it software-wise on the disc itself. I'm sure you can find other YouTube videos that can better explain how that works. I'm just kind of rambling now because I know about that sort of thing. And if you ever hang out with me, you will know that I do that a lot. Yeah, trust me, he's right. I wish there was like some sort of counter to tell me how many things that I was supposed to destroy, or how many things I have left. I don't know. It leaves it a little bit open-ended, but because the graphics have a certain presentation that they have, and the fact that this area is just kind of so open-ended, it just kind of makes you wonder, like, what you're doing. It's difficult to keep track of what's going on. Like, you really have to force yourself to pay attention. But it isn't very stimulating, so it's difficult to pay attention. At least I got a handle on the controls. The first time I played this, I was all over the place. And guess what? Oh, out of time. So you get a death animation, game over. Well, that's it. Should we try one more stage? Just one more. But for some reason, after either you beat the stage or you lose the stage, you get this credit scroll. Like, why? That should only happen after you beat all the stages. I mean, did they think that nobody was going to play it long enough, so they wanted to make sure that everybody got their due? Just whatever. So you apparently have a 2-player co-op and a 2-player battle mode, which is interesting. Might need to try that sometime. Why don't I play? Because you don't have any hands. Good point. Antarctic. Arctic, Antarctic. Asia. Let's go to Asia. Ooh, these textures are so low resolution, it's difficult to see what's going on here. And the PlayStation was actually capable of handling better, which leads me to my next complaint. Not only is the texture resolution like really, really low, but also the draw distance is really, really, really short. And the frame rate is not exactly perfect either. So overall, the presentation makes this a little bit more difficult to play than it should be. It'd be better if they optimized this and paid better attention to the hardware they were developing on. But it was an slightly early title for the system, so I guess I could cut them some slack. The technology wasn't 100% there yet. But Air Combat had a better draw distance, and it consistently played at a steady 60 frames per second. And because they weren't sure exactly how to get the texture mapping to look super pretty, they didn't use very complicated textures, and it looks good. So, blah. Although this is more free flowing because you're not in a plane going straight the entire time. You're in a helicopter flying all over the place. So, I don't know. It could have still been done better. Like, feel that slowdown. Ugh, it's sluggish. Whenever you've got slightly too many things going on. Just slightly too much. It's like it just can't handle it. See if I can blow that boat up. Nope. Let's speed up and then turn around, see if I can blow up that boat. Oh, I'm getting attacked by other things now. I don't see where everything is. Come on now. I can't really see what I'm doing here. Okay. Alright. We're going forward. Forward. Come on now. Alright. Man, see how sluggish this is? I don't know if that's really coming across to you. And I died because I couldn't see what was attacking me. Those little explosion sprites were like too big for me to see what was really going on. Gotta give them props for trying, but it definitely feels like it could have been a lot better than what they made. Did I get it? See, I had a targeting reticule over it, and I still did not hit that thing. And it's giving me targeting reticules through a wall that I can't destroy. So, where is it? Where is the thing? Come on now. Shoot that other helicopter. It has my colors, so I can't tell whether it's my enemy or not. And also, at the bottom, my lives are shown in red. Or what is that? Is that lives? I have no idea what that is. Because you actually do have lives in this game. Once you die, you respawn, like I just did. So I guess those are lives. Okay. Still trying to figure out where I'm going. And I'm trying to look at the mini-map at the top to kind of help me see where I am. But because there's like a really strong sense of verticality here, it's difficult to tell exactly where my enemies are. Let's do strafe. But the thing is the way they have it, strafing is on a face button, and guess where all your weapons are? On your face buttons. So you're kind of like having to do this weird thing with your controller by using one finger to hold down the strafe while hitting the... I'm out of weapons, I guess. So I have my main guns, but I'm out of missiles. That is just confusing. Anyway. Yeah, keep hitting that button. Yeah, Candy, I'm so glad you woke me up to do this. So am I.
What else we got here? Battle stations. Kind of looks like some sort of battleship type of thing going on. Maybe it'll be decent.
Kind of a nice little intro here. Very early 90s. Or mid 90s rather. The music's kind of cool. I used to always love watching these little opening scenes on the PlayStation for each of these games. They always had something interesting going on, usually. What was with that? That facial warping. Oh, goodness. Loading. This one also has a 2-player option. Well, let's give this a try. Arcade or campaign? I'd love to show you the campaign, but that would just take too long. We're gonna do arcade. Okay, this is where you pick your ships. Huh. So this is a little bit like Battleship, although instead of playing Battleship the board game, you are actually playing as the individual ships on the board. Okay, play the cruiser.
Battle station.
So this is just like a versus mode where 2 ships go against one another. Okay. Rotate with the directional buttons, and then you move forward with the up button. And okay, I kind of get this, but this looks really goofy. And you launch missiles with your face buttons, I guess. The music's way cooler than the actual gameplay. It's like, you ever heard of the game Space War? This is basically Space War, but on the ocean. That's exciting. And I just died. I should choose a faster ship, I guess. But that was short. And yeah, if you do this 2 players, that's exactly what you get. Not much more than that. Let's go with the patrol boat. Because it's smaller target, and can move around quicker. It's almost like an unbalanced joke. And I'm going against an aircraft carrier. It's got way more health, but... And how can it stay dead accuracy? Like... It's like trying to be a fighting game, but with boats, I guess. And it doesn't really work. I'm trying to back up. And I'm still moving forward somehow. I'm trying to back up. Back it up. Back it up, mate. You made short work of me there again. How do I back up? Okay. Mine layer. Transport. Let's go with the submarine.
Battle station.
Well, this is exciting. At least I can outrun his crosshairs. If I can do that, I should be able to. Okay, no, run, go away. There's like very little to no challenge here. I mean, there is, but it's not fun or engaging in any way. It's just you're just moving around, shooting each other. Yeah, it's just seriously Space War, but in the water. Oh, we're both submarines, I just noticed. I think. Yeah, we're both submarines. Making it slightly difficult to tell who's who. I mean, I know who I am because they're looking at me. And I can see when I'm moving, like I'm the one fishtailing like a madman. Ooh, I think I'm about to get him. Am I about to get him? I'm about to get him. Come on. Yay! I do not feel accomplished at all. Hey, Candy Bones. Yeah? I really hope Christmas Day isn't anything like what I'm experiencing right now. Oh, we'll find out. This is slow. This thing moves very slow. Put me back to sleep. Seriously makes me want to go back to sleep. The music's actually kind of decent, even though the samples are very poor quality. Like it's trying to be like this epic Hollywood movie score, but it's like using MIDI samples, and they're warped and distorted just so where you can very easily tell what's going on here. See, it looks like I'm doing more damage to him, but he ended up destroying me.
Time to go to the next game. Alright. Burst Trick Wakeboarding by Natsume. That's kind of interesting. Natsume's published some pretty decent stuff. And maybe this might be a fun little racing game.
Burst Trick. What? Burst Trick Wakeboarding by Metro and Natsume. Didn't Natsume make a lot of those scrolling first-person shooters? First-person shooters? I'm sorry, I'm not awake. Space shooters? The vertical scrolling shooters? Bullet hell games?
Actually, no. Now that I'm looking it up on their website, they were mostly known for releasing a lot of shovelware already, and they're mostly known for their Harvest Moon releases, which is the only thing that isn't really shovelware that I can see in here.
Wow, they're really trying to sell me on how epic this is supposed to be. When did this come out? In the year 2000! Yeah, this is some grade A textbook style shovelware right here. PS2 had just come out. And this looks like potatoes. And you got this EDM, this early EDM song about shotguns. What, do I get to shoot some shotguns while I'm on the water? That would be pretty interesting. That would be a unique thing in a game. But I don't think it's going to do that. This game's rated E, I think. But at the same time, I kind of like the logo. I'm kind of hoping this is kind of decent. At least they kind of, iffy sort of look like they tried to do something fun with the options menu here. Obstacle, trick, options. So obstacle is kind of like this obstacle course sort of race type of thing, and then you have trick, which is you got to do tricks, obviously. Let's go with the obstacles. They kind of wanted to go for this arcade style feel, which was kind of cool. They give you one unlockable character. Woohoo! That's a weird sound effect. Anyway, we're gonna play as this chick because I feel like it. I mean, I don't know if any of this matters to the gameplay. It probably doesn't. So we just gonna roll with it, y'all. We gonna roll with it. You know what I'm saying? Since when do you talk like that? Hey Chris, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Are you getting into the competition? You know the rules, right? What, is this an RPG? Okay, listen, those guys are good. Show them what you got. See ya. This course is on a big lake. The weather is always nice and clear. It's a very nice course, but be careful of the rocks. To slide up on the dock, use the ramp in front of it. Use the jumps wisely. Pull off some big tricks. Okay. On a breaking board. That kind of reminds me of the one in Blades of Steel. So there's like characters that kind of have talking bits between these things. That's kind of nifty. It's a touch. I don't know if it's necessarily a nice touch, but it's a touch. Well, the presentation looks definitely better than the last game. There's some artistic goings on here. Then again, this was later. Oh my gosh! This frame rate! I feel like I'm sleepwalking watching this. Whoa. What is this, Sonic the Hedgehog? Gotta collect rings? How do I speed up? There we go. That's cool. Alright. Use the shoulder buttons to speed up and jump. There we go. Okay. Kind of remembering how to do this. I have tried this before, and I'm apparently doing better. Get the rings. Tell me there's a Chaos Emerald at the end of this, please. Oh, I'm not supposed to get air off of that? How was I supposed to know? You know, this game would actually be fun if the frame rate was playable. Actually, now that I'm actually spending a little time with it, that's fun. But yeah, I guess you got to avoid the rocks, and you got to hit the jumps, and you got to do more. We got to get more points than the other people, I guess, because there's no one else racing, so this isn't really a race. Get checkpoints. Okay. Yeah, this definitely feels like an arcadey type of game, but oh man, this was optimized for the PlayStation to the point of not at all. Oh, I can't explain you how much this frame rate makes me feel like I'm trudging through the sewer. Like, it literally feels like slime. It's hurting my eyes! It's hurting my eyes, too. And there isn't even a 3D mode on here. Oh, man, I want to thank Jesus for that. Woo! Yeah, if this thing was running at least 30 frames, I can't tell if this is 30 frames or not. If this was running at least 30 frames, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like less than 20-something. But if this game ran at 60 frames per second, like most PlayStation games did, and almost all PS2 games did, which there was no reason why they couldn't have properly optimized this game to run at 60 frames per second. No excuse whatsoever. But because you can't, it makes you feel like the game feels much, much slower than it's supposed to. And that's a problem. Like, it barely feels playable. Alright, now let's show you what the trick mode's like. Let's choose the guy with the fro, because I like fros. Bros with fros. You know what I'm saying? Lecture or competition. I like how it's called lecture. It's tutorial. Intel should have. Competition, trick competition. I really don't want to do the tutorial because it's not fun. The competition's not all that much more fun, but still, at least you don't have to pause every 5 seconds for it to tell you what to do. Hey, Bow. Or Bo. I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Okay, so they just repeat things? You know the rules, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna say... They say the same thing. It's obviously a different character, but they say the same stuff. Like, what's the point if they're just gonna say the same things? Like, that's not engaging or immersive. It's stupid. Like, actually put some effort into it. I reject what I said earlier. Or deject what I said earlier. You're really not awake, are you? No, I am not. Okay, this frame rate looks a little nicer. Not by much, though. Okay, this is just slightly better. Actually, no, it's not. It says get out, push the. Okay, you kind of got to do this weird quick time thing. You got to get outside of that, and you push this button, and then you hit this. No, I hit the circle button, and it didn't do anything. What the? Come on. I'm trying to hit the button. I'm trying to do what it says, and it's not working. Okay, are you supposed to hold down the button? Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. See, I kind of got the hang of this the first time I tried it. Like, this game actually almost is... Okay. Yeah, see, all you gotta do is time the button just right, and he automatically does a trick. You don't get to tell him what tricks he can do. He just automatically does things. Because that's fun. Imagine playing Tony Hawk, but it was nothing but QuickTime events. Actually, I think they did that for one of the games. No, I hit the button. It's acting like I didn't hit the button. Come on now. I hit the button. And you don't have much time. What, I had one bad run, now you're telling me to retire? Thanks for the vote of confidence. Alright. Oh, there we go. You just gotta time it just so. The button input doesn't exactly register the way it's supposed to. So, I'm getting the hang of it, but I'm not having any fun. Oh, you have to hit the directional button in tandem with it, I guess. There we go. Kind of getting the hang of this, but I'm not having any fun. Like, it's just button prompts. Really crappy button prompts. You retire. I'll try it one more time. There we go. See, at least you get a cool little animation. But that's it. It's just nothing but button prompt in time. It'd be kind of okay if this was more of a rhythm game, but it's not. It's supposed to be like an extreme sports type of game. And it didn't register my button press. I clearly hit it. Come on now. This game just plain doesn't like me. Am I supposed to hit one button before the other and not both of them at the same time? Oh, okay. It is one after the other. So I guess I will do this at least one more time. 'Cause I'm determined to get... I'm determined to get at least some sort of score here. Shortage of points. I've got a shortage of patience. What if I'm not ready? There we go. Boop. Yeah, once you figure it out, it's too easy. It's like the game pretty much plays itself. Who is this even for? People who don't like games, probably. You just want the game to play itself. Well, if you want the game to play itself, just watch TV like you always do. Like, what's the point? Oh, I still have one more. Oh, missed it. I think I will. I think I will.
You do that. I'm bad enough looking at it anyway. That frame rate was really messing with me.